Afternoon, everyone, or good evening, or good morning, depending on what time of day you are tuning in from and where on the planet you're tuning in. I welcome you to this place with peace and love. Curly Conscious King, greetings to you, brother. Always good to see you in this space. And to everyone, warm greetings of love, grace, and peace to you. You know, we're in a time where there's so much going on. There's been so much discord, chaos, and confusion going. And it's not by mistake. It's not by mistake. It's been indeed manufactured. And if you're tuning into this, you probably have felt some of the chaos, discord, and confusion. If you're a person who is on a path of spiritual growth, if you're on a journey to experience soul ascension, then you likely are a person who's not thrilled with a lot of the things that have been happening. You likely are a person who feels uncomfortable with the inhumanity that is carried out towards other people. You are likely a person who feels a discomfort, a significant sense of discomfort when you see life being taken away from people tragically. When you see chaos creation and intentional chaos creation to justify profoundly unrighteous action, right? And the world that we live in today, it is a world that is out picturing of what it is that's going on in somebody's consciousness. No mistake, making no mistake about it. What we're seeing in the world that we're living in today is the manifestation of somebody's consciousness. Let me put it a little bit differently. Somebody has manifested, perhaps what somebodies have manifested, perhaps a group of people have manifested. And you may be in a state of feeling, oh my gosh, that is my, I don't know what happened with my mic. It was in my shirt. I'm just going to hang it here and hope it stays there. It doesn't look so great, but hopefully it does the job. Okay. Apologies if you heard a lot of weird sounds as the mic was falling down inside my sweater and into my lap, or when I was putting it back. I digress. The world that we live in today, the world that we see today, is a function of somebody's manifestation. The world that we live in today, where there's chaos, where there's confusion, where there's discord, where there's the sowing of hate and violence, this is a function of somebody's consciousness. This is a function of someone's manifestation. It's what someone has manifested, maybe what somebodies have manifested. Indeed, I'll say that emphatically, what folks have manifested. And if you are a person who is feeling displeased with what it is that you're seeing in the world, if you're displeased with what it is that you're seeing in the streets, if you're displeased with what it is that you're seeing on the news, if you're displeased with what you're reading online, if you're displeased with things that are taking place that seem to be 180 degrees in the opposite direction of what love and peace are all about, then that means that there's some work to do. And I'm here today because I have work to do. And I will go on record as saying that you have work to do. We have work to do. Those of us who are about love, those of us who are about peace, those who want peace to reign supreme on planet Earth, those who want goodness to unfold on planet Earth, then we've got work to do. Because those who want something other than that are doing work to make the world unfold the way that they want to see it unfold. Now, there's so much I have to say about this. There's so much I have to say about this, and I want to aim to be concise. I want to aim to be concise. What we're dealing with today is manifesting a new vision for the world and putting the power of our creative potential to work. Manifesting a new vision for the world and putting our creative potential to work. The world that we live in, the world that we are endeavoring to do our best to navigate, is a function of a vision that someone put into manifestation. And I've got some news for you. You probably have contributed to that manifestation. You probably, even in your upset, even in your righteous indignation, you too have in some way contributed to the world that we see, the world that is around and about us today, right? The way that things are right now. Now, I'm not saying that to guilt anyone. I'm not saying that to shame anyone. I'm saying that as a statement of fact. Energy follows consciousness. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. And while you might be in staunch disagreement with some of the things that are taking place, while you might be quite upset with a lot of the things that are taking place, to the degree that you allow yourself to get caught up in the fear mongering, to that degree are you actually contributing to the chaos and confusion that's taking place. Okay. To the degree that you are feeling enraged, you're actually contributing to the world that you don't want to actually see. Okay. Now, there are some people who are in what we might consider positions of worldly power, who are doing things that you, as a righteous individual, don't think is too cool. That's understandable. I can relate to that 100%. And here's the thing, if we want a different world, then we've got to be better at doing what we do than those who want a different world than what we want do what they do. Now, you can't go trying to do what they do and the way they do it, because that actually just feeds into their ashe. It just feeds into their end game, their goal. If you're dwelling in a state of panic and fear and anxiety, then what ends up being manifested more fluidly, more significantly, more intensely, is the thing that you're pushing back against. And so what we need to do is determine what it is that we're wanting to push for. I say all the time on this broadcast, on these Sunday Hope and Healing sessions, that who you and I are is pure love and divine light. That is your birthright. It is your essence. And maybe some of you who've been here for a while, maybe you have intellectually accepted that you are pure love and divine light. Maybe before you even came here, maybe you intellectually accepted that you, at your core, at your essence, is pure love and divine light. That's the essence of every soul on the planet. Those who are living in alignment with it and those who are living a little differently, right? we are all, every single human being is made in the image and the likeness of God. And therefore, we have creative potential to manifest outwardly in the world what it is that we are carrying on the inside of us. And that is a truism regardless of how you're utilizing that energy and in what way you're directing it. You and I, as beings that are made in the image and likeness of God, have creative power of God at our disposal, and we get to choose how we're actually utilizing that creative potential, whether we're utilizing that creative potential or not, whether we are really rallying our forces within us to be able to create a focus and a vision in our mind that sets up a reality internally within us that then leads us to engage in right directed action that will then help to solidify and coalesce that which will manifest in the world in a way that is pleasing to us, or whether we just sit in a state of righteous indignation impotently, or whether we just dwell in a state of righteous indignation impotently, demonstrating no power to do really anything. All right. You see that word that I used earlier, that term that I used earlier, I should say, creative potential. Put our creative potential to work. What's the root word of potential? It's potent. Potent. Potent is speaking to power. All right. And I'm not talking about power for power's sake. And if you haven't read it already, I really encourage you to get your hands on a copy of Dr. David R. Hawkins' book, Power versus Force. I wholeheartedly encourage you to get a hold of that. Those who we consider to be in power are typically people who are just using force because they don't really have any real power being something that exists and flows from within. Okay. They may have weak and fragile egos. They may have a compromised constitution. I'm not talking about a document. I'm talking about internally. Okay. Although I believe it could be said that the Constitution has been compromised too. So I really want to put out a clarion call. You know, today is the 1st of February, which means today is the 1st of the month. This is the first Sunday of the month. And over the last few months, the first Sunday of the month, we have been doing a series dealing with making the most or making the best of the life and the body that you've been given. Okay. A lot of times we focus on an individual level, right? Making the most of the life and the body that you've been given. We focus that on an individual level. But guess what? It also manifests on a collective level as well. Okay. As within, so without. As above, so below. What is the case within the macrocosm is also the case within the microcosm. Jesus kind of laid it out this way: whatever you loose in heaven will be loosed on earth, and vice versa, right? And so I really want us to be able to tap into our spiritual potency. I want us to first have our hearts and our minds right, because there are a lot of laws of the universe that are neutral. The law of gravity, if we were to use the law of gravity, which is something that manifests in the earth realm here, if we were to use the law of gravity doesn't care if you have a good heart or not. You know, if you walk off a cliff, you're going to fall, right? That's just how gravity works. And you work within the context of the law. And so people can have very unrighteous intentions and utilize, and I'm talking about bigger picture laws right now, can have unrighteous intentions and utilize the laws of the cosmos in such a way as to cause their intentions, their desire, and their vision to be made manifest, even if they're coming from an unrighteous place and doing it. Okay. Similarly speaking, because you have a good heart doesn't automatically make the world that you live in a good-hearted place. Suni Maria, hey, love. Good to see you in the space today. All right. And so I really want to encourage those of us who are doing the internal work, those of us who are doing the internal work to elevate our emotional intelligence, those who are doing the internal work to increase our light quotient. What is it that I mean by light quotient? I mean the activation of divine light being manifested within your consciousness, within your body temple, and within your life, and outwardly expressed that way. Okay. All right. And so I have said on many occasions before that sickness, no matter what form it is in, it's really just a darkness. And I'm not talking about darkness as something that I'm judging. I'm not talking about it as something that needs to be okay, we got some inappropriate comments going on. I'll remove them. Okay. Now, what was I saying? Light quotient. I want us to be able to have a sense. Oh, wait a minute. No, I removed the absolute wrong person. I don't know how that happened. And I don't know how to undo it. I removed somebody that I should not have removed. And I hope I didn't ban them from ever being able to come back. Okay, I goofed up on that. All right. Well, back to the matter at hand. Those of us who have any form of sickness or dis-ease going on within us, that sickness, that dis-ease is a function of a darkness. I'm not talking about darkness as something that needs to be condemned. I'm not talking about darkness as something that we need to fight against. I'm not talking about darkness as something that needs to be banished. Darkness is simply the absence of light. Is there anywhere in the scriptures that say that God created darkness? I don't believe there is. But it does say in the scriptures, God said, let there be light, right? Okay. So everything that God made is good. If it isn't good, then God didn't make it. And if God didn't make it, it isn't real. So all sickness, all dis-ease is the function of a darkness, which innately isn't actually real. Also, by incorporating the presence of the light, the darkness automatically disappears. The darkness just disappears in the presence of the light. The light doesn't need to get angry at the darkness. The light doesn't need to fight against the darkness. When the light shows up, the darkness just automatically disappears. And so I've seen this to be the case with people with physical health conditions. But that's not the only form of dis-ease. Mental health conditions are a form of dis-ease. Chaos and confusion in the world are a form of dis-ease. All of them are just a darkness, which really all that we need to do to rectify that is to bring in the presence of the light. Okay? To bring in the presence of the light. And so that's what I'm going to encourage us to do today. That's what I'm going to encourage us to do today, to bring in the presence of the light into the earth realm. I'm here in the United States, and I'm gonna focus on bringing the presence of light into the earth realm in general, and also specifically within the United States. Wherever it is that you are in the earth, wherever it is that you are on the planet, you may want to bring in the awareness of the presence of the light into that space. Now, I said earlier in this thing that if you're here and you're not one of the people that just found us and is making inappropriate comments, then you're likely here because you are on a spiritual journey, consciously on a spiritual journey, right? And I've said before, even in this broadcast, that who and what we are at our core is pure love and divine light. We know that intellectually, or we can know that intellectually the way that we really, really, really know it, not just intellectually, but not just conceptually, but experientially, is when we get to the point where pure love and divine light are all that we see. Now, as we endeavor to make the most of the life that we've been given, most of the, and in this case, I'm going to say the mind that we've been given, the capabilities that we've been given, the creative potential that we've been given. I want to encourage us to direct our energy in such a way as to direct our energy in such a way as to see the earth realm in a state of peace and love. All right. And so I'm going to ask you to kind of allow yourself to get into a quiet place. I know sometimes because we're live, you may be moving around, fixing something to eat. You may be driving in your car. You may be tending to things around the house. You may be in the process of a workout. If you are able to, I want to encourage you to really get present to this right now moment and what's going on right now. Okay. If you feel like there's somebody you know that that would benefit from this, you know what? Not just who would benefit from this. If you feel like you know somebody that you want to invite to participate in helping to make this world a better place, I encourage you to invite them here. Whether you're inviting them now or whether you're sending them a link or something to be able to participate in what we're doing later, I encourage you to do that. Okay. There are a lot of folk who are very intentional about creating negative energy on the planet. There are a lot of people very intentional about doing a lot of things to keep people in a confused and disempowered state. Okay. And if you're about something different from that, If you want to see a world where something different than that is made manifest, I encourage you to try to get as many people as you can to participate in this, because the way that the world systems are set up, and particularly right now, is that there are things that are being put out there to impact the consciousness of the masses so that the masses can contribute to bringing their vision about, that will contribute to bringing their vision into manifestation, right? Okay. And so I want us to, as much as we can right now, allow ourselves to be present. Allow ourselves to be present in this right now moment. And regardless of what's going on in the news cycle right now, of what things might be boiling your blood or raising your blood pressure, having you frustrated about what's taking place in the world right now, I want to invite you to come to your center. Focus your attention in your heart. Focus your attention in your heart center and breathe in, consciously breathe in the light of God's love. And then breathe out the light of God's love. Breathing in the light of God's love. Breathing out the light of God's love. I want you to think for a moment about your fear. And then breathe the light of God's love into the place where your fear is. Because you've not been given a spirit of fear. You've been given a spirit of power and of love, a sound mind. And so into the place where you are feeling some fear or holding some fear, I want to encourage you to breathe the light of God's love into that place. For that space within your beingness to be infused with the light of God's love. The part of you that feels enraged about some of the things that are happening in the news cycle, maybe even things that you're seeing on the street. I want you to allow yourself to become present to that for a moment. For a moment. If there's somewhere in your body temple where you're feeling it, I'd like you to place your attention there. I want yourself to really feel present to it. And then I want to invite you to breathe the light of God's love into that space. Breathe in the light of God's love. And the light doesn't chase the darkness out. The darkness is just the absence of light. And when the light comes, the darkness just disappears. It's a scientific law that two things cannot occupy the same place at the same time. And so when you bring in the presence of the light of God's love, that pure love and divine light, only that which is of love, only that which is of light can be present. Okay. And now, and this is where, particularly if you can be present, I don't recommend doing this right now if you are driving. In fact, if you are driving, do not do this right now. Go catch the playback and do it with the playback when you can be a little bit more still and focused. want to encourage you to allow your awareness to extend up through the top of your head and up out of your body. Allow your consciousness to go to some high place. You may want to imagine that you're sitting on a cloud, or sitting on a rainbow, the edge of the Earth's atmosphere. You may want to pretend you're like dangling, sitting on a crescent moon, dangling your feet. You may want to imagine that you are just in general out amongst the stars, but to some high place, some high place. From this place, I want you to join me in this prayer. I'm going to say it out loud, but I'd like to ask you to repeat it silently if you would. God, or whatever terminology you use as for the source of all existence. I recognize you to be the transformer, the redeemer, the waymaker, the cycle breaker, the source of all that is good, and also infinitely potent. And in this moment, I call forth into my own mind the awareness of your peace, your love, your harmony, your unity, being manifested in the earth realm. And being manifested in, and then state a place where you specifically want to see it, perhaps Minnesota, perhaps California, wherever, a place where you specifically want to see it. I want to invite you to state that place or state those places. And thank you for empowering me and empowering those with hearts attuned to universal love to be participants and spiritual practitioners serving in the earth realm to aid in bringing this about. Thank you, God, for this gift of your divine love. It is done. It is done. It is done. And now I want you to, in your mind's eye, from this high elevated place where you are, to look down upon the earth. And maybe you see something, maybe you don't. If you don't see anything, don't worry about it. Just hold your intention, looking down upon the earth and seeing the earth as this thing that doesn't seem as huge and gigantic as it does from up close, but from this elevated place, you're able to see things in perspective. And then as you observe the earth for a little while, look up and see above you brilliant, radiant light like you've never seen before. This pure, radiant light, like the light of 1,000,000,000,000 suns, all gathered together. And a light that's pure, a light that's healing, a light that's redeeming. And I want to invite you to allow your consciousness to go up further into that light. And then get some of that light and bring it down with you, bringing your consciousness back down into the earth realm, going back down to the earth realm, to some place on the earth where you feel concerned about it, where you felt some concern about, where you feel that this pure love and divine light needs to be radiating. Maybe Washington, D.C., maybe somewhere else where you feel like there's a lack of this pure love and divine light, where that pure love and divine light can be used to bring wholeness and restoration and peace and well-being and right thinking and clarity and unity. And then when you bring down the light into these places, go back up and get some more of that divine light. As you go and get it, it knows what you're there for, and it just goes along with you. Goes back along with you to the earth realm, to the place that you've had some concern about, to the place where you've seen some darkness in the earth realm. They can use this light and bring that light down into that place so that that place's darkness can be replaced with the light of God's love. Potent and effectual. For a reason, my awareness was drawn to Washington, D.C., place where policies are made. All right. Just keep on going up and getting more of that pure light, that pure divine light. And bringing it back down to the earth realm. And see it spreading in the place where you're bringing it to. Going up, getting the light and bringing it back down to the place in the earth where you feel the light is needed. Perhaps it's to an individual person, perhaps it's to a group, to a building, to a place. And as much as possible, try not to focus on a particular outcome, but just bringing this pure love and divine light that is healing and transformative in nature into a place in the earth realm where you feel like it can be used. And leave it there with the knowledge that it is doing what it needs to do. And it will draw to it that which contributes to the manifestation of peace and love and harmony. Going up and getting the light of God's love, that pure, radiant, divine light. That has its own form of intelligence. More intelligent than anything that you've ever known before. That the earth has ever known before. And bringing it into the place where you feel they can be utilized. Where you feel it's needed. And see that light beginning to fill up that space. Going up, getting more light. Bringing more back down. And then you go up to look down again upon the earth and maybe this specific place that you're thinking of, that you've been bringing light to. Allowing yourself to see it infused with light, infused with love, infused with harmony, infused with peace. If you can actually conceive it in your mind as being so, you know that progress is being made. And allow yourself to focus your attention back on the light that's above you. And then direct like a spotlight, maybe even like a laser, whatever resonates with you, to shine light on the place where you could really, where you believe it could really stand to be utilized. And see it just completely filling that place. And you might want to see traveling along with that light, perhaps the words peace. See it going down into that place and even going into the earth itself, rooting and grounding itself in the earth with this pure love and divine light. And maybe seeing also maybe the word peace going in, maybe the word harmony going in, unity going in, oneness going in. Well-being for everyone, you may want to see that going in. Just as words, even necessarily have to see it as a particular picture if that's difficult for you to do. You can just see the words going in and filling the space. Hmm. And now bring your consciousness up to that divine radiant light again, going up into that pure divine light again. Placing it within yourself, taking it down to the earth realm, to your physical body, and placing it in you. To clarify your own spiritual vision. And then taking it down through every shine of that light, everywhere in your body temple. Down through your legs, through the soles of your feet, and down into Mother Earth itself. This beautiful radiant light. Now bring your attention back to your heart space, back within your physical body. Bringing your attention back within your physical body. I'm going to ask that we pray together again. Repeating silently or God, or however you address the source of all existence. Thank you for empowering us to utilize what you've placed within us to manifest a world that aligns with your divine blueprint. And embodies harmony, love, oneness, and peace. Thank you. Thank you for this gift of your divine love and our participation in it. It is done. It is done. It is done. And just imagine yourself rinsing off again in a shower of brilliant, divine, radiant light, like liquid light washing over you. Washing in you, washing through you, washing over you. Going all throughout you, through the soles of your feet and into the earth. And when you are ready, feel free to open your eyes. All right, beloved. That wraps us up for today. As we continue to endeavor to dwell in a sustainable state of supreme satisfaction. Until we meet again, I bid you adieu with peace and love. And I'll catch you next time.